Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben Fisk for the Darkfall Protocol, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 2020 season. Now, I, like millions of other Americans, currently find myself unemployed. Unfortunately, one of the only avenues that remains open to us is online job boards. And if there's one group of people that's working just as hard as the frontline medical workers during this crisis, it is the online scammers who are looking to profit off of the desperation that is sweeping this nation and the globe. Honestly, to all of the scammers out there who are purposefully targeting financially and emotionally vulnerable people, I just hope that at some point in your life, somebody makes you bite down on a cheese grater and then cranks it like the lever on a slot machine. Now today, we're going to be taking a look at the wide variety of scams that have made their way into my inbox. Some of them are immediately determinable as what they are. Some of them are so clever that I had to do a good amount of work to prove that I wasn't being given a golden goose opportunity. Quick background on your boy. Before this, I was actually in human resources in a medical context. I personally onboarded, interviewed, and hired 300 different people. Now, before we get too deep into it, there are a couple of things that we should keep in mind throughout the course of this video. Just because a company does one or even multiple things that we're going to talk about today does not necessarily mean that they are trying to scam you. But it does become a lot more likely. Two, blanket rule, if something comes to you and it just seems too good to be true, it is. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is basically a grammatical sweep. After that, we're going to go through with what I call a logic sweep. All right, I think I have stoked the fires well enough. Let's put these scammers in their place. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the pro and the con men.
You weren't expecting the second one, were you?
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to start off on easy mode. This is what I would call the tutorial. A couple quick things to look for whenever an offer rolls into your inbox. Now, right off the bat, anybody taking a look at this message should know pretty much instantly that it's a scam. The grammatical sweep is more or less obvious, right? They clearly meant to make this 2 sentences, but instead they went with a comma with no space after it. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this with a little bit more of a logical mindset. First and foremost, this was sent from a Zoho Mail email address. Email addresses are one of the biggest red flags when it comes to identifying scammers. Almost every legitimate company will have some kind of a domain that is reflective of their business, or at least what they do. Outlook, Hotmail, Gmail, these are all things that can be created with the push of a button. Therefore, somebody who is looking to scam you is going to be coming from one of these locations. This scammer in particular just launches right into it. Don't introduce themselves by name, don't say what company they're representing, don't even say how they got my information. There's no signature here signing off, letting me know their job title, where they work, any of it. But they did something else that I haven't seen done very often because it's such a red flag. And that's that this scammer sent this to me and to somebody else. The other dude that got sent this, the other potential candidate, he now has my email. At worst, you would expect a company to blind carbon copy, but they didn't even do that. They just slapped both of us in the to field and sent it off. And I know that because the other guy responded to this scam. Now that was the reason that I wanted to make this video, is because even something as obvious as this clearly isn't obvious enough.
I don't want that one, I want the first one.
This is one that I have dubbed the bait and switch, and it's a pretty common tactic for online job scammers. Now, right off the bat, this one looks a little bit more professional. It does have my name in there. It does say who is sending this. It does say the name of the company. We're gonna stick to the protocol, so the first thing we're going to do is our grammatical sweep. Scammers have a weird thing with capitalization. Executive personal assistant, the official job title, not capitalized. Ben, what if this person didn't have the same educational opportunities that you did? You're being pretty classist right now. You're being pretty educationist right now. This person is not familiar with presenting themselves in a formal manner when it comes to written communication. Something that a HR director or an HR coordinator would probably be fluent in at this point. You have been selected as for a position with one of our associate company. That by itself, not a deal breaker. Regardless though, this is always the first red flag for which I search. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to search through this for logic. Now this is why I call this one the bait and switch. These front two lines are something that are repeated ad nauseum. Now as far as I understand it, there's a couple of reasons that they do this. The first and foremost is that it puts you at a disadvantage when it comes to the negotiation process. You've already been rejected, you already have that pit in your stomach, so when they give you an alternative, you're automatically in more of an accepting position because you're starting to feel desperate. Compensation for this position is $900 a week. There's a lot to unpack in that one specific sentence. 900 USD a week? When was the last time that you specified the nationality of the currency you were paying in? When was the last time a cashier said to you, okay, that's gonna be 5 United States dollars? And then finally, go ahead and take a look down there. Oh, you want me to reach out to an Outlook email address. That's very interesting. You're not reaching out from your company address. Now, finally, we're going to talk about my favorite part of this entire message. Now, the company that I applied to is basically called SA Architects, and it's named after the founder. This email was apparently sent by SA themselves, the founder of the company. No. SA would have hired an HR director. SA is not sitting down and writing out these copy-paste emails to try to hire on an administrative assistant or a personal executive. No, that's not how any of this works. That's not how a company is structured. So let's go over a list of the red flags really quick. Terrible grammar. Rampant weird capitalization, the classic bait and switch, not referencing the former position, giving me an exorbitant amount of money for a very simple job, specifying the nationality of that currency, having an Outlook email address, and claiming that the owner, founder, CEO of the company was the one who sent this offer letter. 8 huge reasons as to why I believe that this is a scam. You're never going to be 100% sure. That's why the golden goose is so tempting, because there's always going to be that twinge of doubt that says, maybe this is legitimate. Maybe I should just see where this goes. And that's how they get you.
All right, just sign here, and here, and here, and here.
Now, this is a copy-paste message that I received over and over and over again. Outlook email address, just saying hi. Thank you for your response. To what? On where? We need data entry and office clerk to start immediately. If interested, then register free @ and then a website. Okay? Have a good day. Million red flags. But the reason this one was so interesting to me is because I just kept getting it, so I ended up following it. When you go, you actually end up on this fairly professional looking homepage. It's clear that this scammer in particular actually had a really good tool to create their website. And that's actually a perfect segue to talk about today's sponsor. When you're creating a website, there's only one company that you want behind you. I wish. Are you kidding me? So this first one says that you can work at home doing social media management. That sounds like something that I might know how to do. I do YouTube, I have a Twitter I never use, I have an Instagram that I forget exists. I was made for this, right? So you go ahead and you pull it up, and this is the type of scam that I hope most people are much more familiar with. This is what I call the radical dude check, and it sounds something like this.
This single mom makes over $700 every single week, helping businesses with their Facebook and Twitter accounts. And she will show you how you can too.
Does that seem like a scam?
Because to me it sure does.
Okay, that's one example. There were a couple different links up there. Maybe the surveys are going to be a little bit more legitimate, right?
I went from getting $3 surveys to $500 surveys every day. Wow, that's $500 just for taking a survey.
That is $500 just for taking a survey. What about the writing job? You could do blogging, you could do copywriting, you could do article creation. See, that's what I was expecting to find. Now, finally, I came to the sub-tab for the data entry position. This is the most legitimate looking one of the bunch. So I scrolled down here and I found this. An animator. No. An antiques dealer? An assistant what? Auto appraiser? An investigator. Investigating what?
Get over here!
Now we're going to start moving into the ones that actually made me pause. The ones that I agonized over whether or not I should respond. Now this one is what I've called the Hangout spot. It's going to become obvious why in a little bit. This is coming across as much more professional. It said where they got my resume. It said what the company is. It set forth the expectations of payment. It even talks about doing training. It sets up when the interview is going to be, how it's going to happen, with whom I'm going to be interviewing. At first glance, this one's pretty legitimate, right? First, we're gonna do the grammatical sweep. Now, this one's getting a lot better. The first paragraph is a run-on sentence, right? Congratulations, our recruitment team has received your resume from smartrecruiter.com and forwarded to the HR desk of company, and we are very pleased with your listed qualifications. Would like to conduct an online interview to discuss the duties within the job and work hours, along with the pay scale and working hours. It's a little bit weird that they would say the job and work hours, along with the pay scale and working hours. Didn't know how to do a lot, didn't capitalize Google Hangout. That wouldn't be enough to write this entire thing off automatically. $24 an hour. $24 an hour, that's pretty high, right? If you've been on a computer for long enough, odds are your typing speed's pretty good and your 10 key ain't bad. So, $24 an hour for doing data entry, no qualifications, no prior experience, work from home, make your own schedule. I haven't talked about signatures a whole lot, but signatures are actually really important. Your standard signature is going to have the name, the title, the company, and the contact info. This company didn't even bother to give me that. They do give me how to talk to Mr. Blank, but again, it's only through Google Hangout. We'll talk about that in a second. Those are all okay. Those are all pretty good indicators of why this is kind of nonsense, right? But there are two other things that we need to look at. deskhr2@gmail.com. First strike, Gmail. Second strike, deskhr2@gmail.com. But if you take a look down at how they want me to get in contact with Mr. Blank, that's hr.coordinator@gmail.com, formatted completely differently. You would think it would be either hr.desk or it would be coordinator HR. In a company like this, they don't let you just make up your own email. They want it to be standardized so that people within the company know exactly how to find each other without having to go, dude, what is Blank's email? Is he desk HR? No, I put HR core. What do you mean it has a period? They don't want that. That is costing them time, that is costing them money, that is costing them transparency with the customer. I don't know, that's a lot of red flags, man. If I was a bull, I would have a lot to charge at right now. But the kiss of death actually comes in the first sentence. Congratulations. Our recruitment team has received your resume from smartrecruiter.com. Now, there are websites out there that will aggregate all of the applications across multiple websites. When I first saw this, that's what I assumed SmartRecruiter was, just an aggregation website. However, when you follow the link, oh, that's familiar. The domain does not exist. That's probably a pretty clear sign that everything else in here is utter malarkey, right? We did just prove empirically that they are lying to us about how they secured our information. So it's not that much of a stretch to assume that they're also going to lie about what they're going to do with the information once they get it.
All right, hold up. What is our plan?
Now, I'd like to take a quick break here and answer a question that might be building on a lot of people kind of on the back of their mind. What exactly is this scam? Is there a name for this? I don't know if there's an official name for it. I'm just going to call it the bounce scam. So the way that the bounce scam works is, let's say that I go ahead and I follow this. I have my Google Hangout, they like me, they hired me on for satellite work. Now, I'm gonna need some equipment in order to do that, right? Let's say I need $1,000 worth of computer equipment. They send me a check, and then they reach out and they go, oh, you're not gonna believe this. This is so crazy. We were only supposed to send you $1,000, but we accidentally sent you a check for $1,500. Isn't that loony? Could you go ahead and send us that $500 back? Now, you already have the check in hand, so you're thinking, yeah, no, absolutely, honest mistake, right? You deposit it, you transfer them the $500. A couple days later, your bank calls you and goes, hey, that check bounced. You have, in effect, just sent $500 of your own money out to some faceless entity. And the second they get it, they're gonna disappear. Now, I'm not as up to date on this, but it's also something that I do think is worth mentioning, especially because I have an example of it here. I personally have never been asked by a legitimate company to meet them on Hangouts. I have always been either a phone interview, a FaceTime interview. Every single piece of information I have found indicates that if a company tries to reach out to you on Hangouts specifically, it is almost guaranteed to be a scam. Just proceed with caution, all ye who enter here. At first glance, again, some people might be taken in by this one. First thing we're gonna do here is our grammatical sweep. The person who's claiming to be the owner of this company is the one who directly authored this email. So that's why things like not capitalizing I, kind of a huge red flag. These weird capitalizations like a personal assistant, which your position, why? Why are you capitalizing these things? You will act as an alternative telephone correspondence. No, I will be your correspondent, maybe. It's a little weird to think that somebody who owns their own business wouldn't have those just foundations of writing. But now we're gonna go through with our logic lens. They didn't bother saying hello applicant, they just jumped directly into it. Thank you for your application, your resume was received, and I must say I'm impressed. The position's just been filled? Oh no. God, I was really hoping for this one. I'm desperate. I need something. Isn't there anything you can do for me? But another position as a personal assistant is available. First of all, this is a remote part-time personal assistant position, right? How would I be doing supervisions and monitoring? Then they got to the part where they had to describe themselves, and this is one of my favorite things that I've gotten from any scam ever. My name is blank, and I'm a realtor / businessman. That reeks to me of somebody who's sitting alone in a one-bedroom apartment, fervently trying to make rent this month, going, God, how do people in the business sector talk? I'm a realtor. Well, I want them to know that I'm professional. I'm a realtor / businessman. Really? Hi, I'm Ben Fisk. I'm a scammer / idiot. I am a local and international successful entrepreneur business partnership with company name. What? You've already established you're a businessman. You don't have to then go on to say you're an entrepreneur. But then they try to hit me with this. Currently, I am in Toronto meeting with business partners. I will be back in 2 weeks to arrange a formal interview. Really? They're just letting you come and go with your realty business, I guess? Or your stock exchange? You claim to do a lot of stuff in your international successful entrepreneur business partnership. You are not in Toronto. The reason that we can't meet for 2 weeks is because you don't actually exist, and you're trying to get me to do stuff for you in a time frame where it doesn't seem weird that you're not having me sign any kind of a contract. $650 a week for a part-time position? Really? You're gonna have me doing supervisions and monitoring, but I get to make my own schedule? You say on here that I can have another job and still do this, which means you'd be fine with me only being available from 5 until 9 p.m. on weekdays? Really? That's the kind of personal assistant you want? Now, some of you might be thinking, Ben, it's $650 a week. It's worth a shot at least. And you could be right. Except that I also received another Canada copy paste that is almost identical, and this one is so much worse that it makes it so clear that this is a scam that it's almost comical. I'll be honest, when I got the other one, I was still contemplating it. I was still thinking, man, there's a lot of red flags on this one, but it's just so good. And then lo and behold, I also happened to receive this one. So first, we're gonna go through with our grammar sweep, right before we attack this thing with logic. Hello, Ben. That's me. Oh, but they didn't capitalize my name. This person's really bad with spaces. Never in a professional context will you write anything in all caps. Ever. So when I read something that says, I have a personal assistant position with our president, I immediately think, oh, okay, you must be about 15 years old. Why would you bother capitalizing personal assistant, right? It's just the job that we're talking about here. Then we transition into a letter directly from the president. Not a bad way to do it, if I'm being completely honest. At least it seems like he sent this to the HR coordinator, and then the HR coordinator sent it to me. We need to talk to the president of the company now, team. He doesn't waste any time letting you know just how important he is. As the president of this company, with a focus on international business, again, it's weird that the president would make the exact same grammar mistakes saying things like the 31st of March does not require a special skill to do it, who can offer the services listed on the advert on previous, such as. Everybody knows that one. Take part more in successfully growing business. Ben, that's very classist. Maybe this man who owns his own company and who has an HR director just isn't able to eloquently hit the space button. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hit this thing with our logic ray, right? Oh, this is somewhat familiar. We received your resume, but unfortunately, the position has just been taken. But will be open for additional application for the same position by March 31st. What? Okay, if I'm understanding this correctly, so you had one position and you filled it, but then you're going to have another position, the same position actually, is going to be open in 2 weeks, and then I'll be allowed to apply for it. Now, this is where it gets really fun. I have a personal assistant position with our president, which you can get now, and transition to the initial job you applied for by March, as you are the only qualified applicant for the job. If I'm the only qualified applicant for the job, who did you just hire to make the position currently unavailable? Why would you give me another position in the meantime that you don't expect me to keep. Dude, my head hurts. Interesting. As a matter of fact, I am currently on a business trip to Ontario, Canada, and I will be returning in 2 weeks. You can work from any location, you can work from home, doesn't affect your present job if you're employed right now. This one is a line that was not included on the first iteration of the Canada copy paste, and that's that I will be paying bills as well as receiving payments from clients when he's not around. You say that I can start this position from the moment I start running errands. Without sending me any kind of an employment contract, you're going to give me control of your finances? We're gonna do a 2-week trial run where I'm in charge of your life and then maybe we're gonna meet face to face? Dude, if you were sharing a desk with somebody, you would want to meet them beforehand, right? $400 a week for 5 to 10 hours of work. No, absolutely. $80 an hour? That sounds realistic. Oh, they want us to email a Hotmail address. Like all realtors/businessmen do, they run off a Hotmail. Welcome to the team, in all caps again. That's why you're stuck here scamming individuals like me. Because you don't have the ability to do anything else. And I'm sorry, but you don't even have the ability to do this. Every now and then, you will get a scammer who goes above and beyond. And that's why I have classified this one as the master scammer. Even after all the research that I've done, it's still almost difficult to believe that this isn't real. Now I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the initial message that I was sent, and I'm just gonna run through everything that they do right. Boom, Ben Fisk, right up at the top. I am a manager of the HR department of blank, my name is blank. Our human resources department found your resume on, boom. There's no grammatical mistakes. It's a little weird that they would say, I am a manager of HR department. That's a little weird, but that's basically the only thing I saw in this entire thing. It talks about a training period. It talks about the fact that it's free. It has an attached job description as a PDF. It has a massive signature down at the bottom. When I initially got this offer, I thought that I was maybe going to be having a conversation with somebody who wasn't trying to extort me. Then I went ahead and I opened the job description. Has a great job description, has a great responsibility section, qualifications. Nobody's talked about qualifications yet. The first thing that should have tipped you off is the salary. $38.40 an hour? We're talking about $74,000 a year for what basically amounts to an entry-level position. I would be skeptical if they were paying $27 an hour. Location, office position. Kind of weird. Later they say, this position is available for your city of residence. That's sounding kind of copy-pasty to me. Wouldn't you agree? High school diploma or GED. Homie, you better be coming to me with at least 1 year's worth of experience. For $74K, you better be able to run the entire finance department. You better be able to execute payroll if that's what I need you to do. So that's all I got with this one. When I was looking it over, there are a couple red flags. I mean, again, I think I have hammered it home enough that $74K for entry level with no prior experience, but I'm sure a lot of people look at this and they think, it's not enough for me, dude. So I started digging, and that's where things got interesting. In that email signature, they sent me the company website. Again, it looked professional. They had a whole bunch of examples. They had a contact page. But then I started digging a little bit deeper. As you follow through here, they have a lot of these little drop-down menus, but they don't actually link off to anything. If you click on shipping prices, it doesn't do anything. You go to rate shop, it doesn't actually have any rates posted publicly on here. What information do I actually have on these people? And I went to their address page. So we can see here that we have one in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is, of course is in the good old USA. We have one in Halifax, which is Nova Scotia, which is of course in Canada. And then we have one in Bolton. I'm just gonna assume it's somewhere in England, and we're just gonna leave it at that. The contact for all three of these different offices is the same email address. How big can you really be when your entire customer service department is one email address? So I went to Google Maps, I checked out the locations that they said they were in. Let's go ahead and take a look at Nebraska, right? So this is the address where they claimed they were. No, nothing with this logistics shipping company. I am fully admitting that that is not the be-all end-all. There's a whole lot of reasons why I might not be able to find them there. But I am also not able to find them in Halifax. That's not them. Let's go ahead and take a look at the one in the UK. Now this is where I actually started to get somewhere. It's a gigantic business skyscraper. I found a list of all of the different companies that are currently there. Our logistics processing place, not on the list. So you might be thinking, okay, Ben, you're doing a lot of armchair detective research here. There's a whole bunch of reasons in the business world why you wouldn't be able to find them on Google Maps, and I agree. But you know what I should be able to find? their main warehouse. Now, on their website, they list it as being in Missouri. But what's really weird about it is the embedded Google Maps display that they have on their webpage, it auto-populates in Russian. When you go to that Missouri address, not a giant shipping warehouse. Ben, just because you can't find any physical evidence, just because they have one contact number, just because parts of their page come up in Russian, doesn't mean this is a scam. One of the things that they claim to have is this LEED certification. Basically just a bragging right to say, hey, I'm environmentally conscious as a company. It'd be really weird if we went to the LEED website and they had no record of this company existing. So then my next question was, why can't I find them on the Better Business Bureau? And this was the hardest one. That's why I put this on Master, because there's still a part of me that still in the back of my mind keeps going, but what if? But what if there's a logical reason for all of this? But what if there's an explanation? But what if this logistics company actually does exist? And that is a what if. But the more important question is, what if they don't? Because somebody who put this much time and effort into creating a fake shell company and then trying to hire for it, I doubt that all they're after is your email address. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our soiree through the world of online internet job scams. Hopefully I've made it clear that there are simple protocols you yourself can undertake to make sure that every offer that comes through your inbox is legitimate. If you guys are interested, I would be more than happy to go through one of the worst days of my entire life and how I myself, even with all my knowledge, fell for one of these HR scams. So thank you guys for sticking with me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got something out of it. And until next time, this is Ben Fisk for the Darkfall Protocol, signing off.